All right, welcome to AutoCAD Chapter 29 lecture. After finishing this chapter, you will be able to control dimension variables settings using the Dimension Style Manager. You will be able to save and restore dimension styles with the Dimension Style Manager, know how to create dimension style families and specify variables for each child, know how to create and apply dimension style overrides, be able to modify dimensions using Update, Dimoverride properties, and Matchprop, know the guidelines for dimensioning, be able to create annotative dimensions, and know how to dimension isometric drawings. So that's what you should learn in this chapter. So first thing, we have some dimensions up here. So you want to make a change to the overall scale. Say I think these are all too small. They're hard to see, there's too many numbers. If I want to change that, I can go D-Dim, and it brings up our Dimension Style Manager. Okay, so I've got one here called Chapter 29 that I've created. Normally you'll be on Standard. I've created one called Chapter 29. So if I want to change them, I go here to Modify. I go to Fit, and overall scale is 0.5. I'm going to change it to 1. And now you can see they're much bigger, but I don't want 4 decimal places. I only want 2. So let me go back in here, Modify, go to Text. Let's see, give me just a second. We're looking for precision. There we go. Primary units, precision. I just want 2 decimal places. Close that there. That is so much better. That is what I'm looking for. So that's how you can make a change. Actually, there's 2 ways to make a change. There are 2 ways to make a change. Use the Dimension Style Manager I just showed you, or type the dimension variable into the format, which is that dim style. Oh, not dim style, I'm sorry. It is dim scale. So you type dim scale. Here you can change it. You saw I changed it to 1. I can change it to 2. Now all the future dimensions will be that way, but the old ones will not. So I like using the box if you want to change all of them. If you want to change one, there's other ways to do that. So when you go to the dimension style and you go to modify, this changes it for everything in the drawing. So that this will be your dimensions for everything in the drawing, not just the one you're working on. Where if you do the dim scale, it just does the one that you're working on at that moment. And you can change sizes of them that way, or you can use properties. That's another way to do it. So say I want just this dimension to be a little bit different. I click on it, do properties, and then line type scale is 1. I can change it to 3. Center mark, you can change the size of the center mark on that. Change it to 2. Now it's much bigger. And you can change the text height to 0.5, and now it's much bigger. So you can do all that under properties as well. But I don't want to do any of that, so I'm going to close them. You can compare dimensions as well. Well, let's talk about dimension style families first. Dimension style families. So dimension style families. Here is my dimension style families. This is what I have in here for the families right now. I have standard, which is what we started with, and then I have chapter 29, which is what I have created for this. You also have your styles button down here for that. So the variable affecting color for dimension text, dimension lines, and extension lines should be changed separately only if you want to control the color, line width, or plot style for each component individually. So assigning a specific color to the dimension lines, extension lines, and dimension text gives you more control on what color that you want to do that. So I could change the color on each of these lines individually if I wanted to. That's something that could be done. That's something that some people do, but usually I just have something up here called dimensions, which I don't have on this one because this is just for an example. And that would give you the dimension, and you can change the color and all that on these dimensions. I mean, you can simply do it just by going here and changing the color. And you can make that dimension a different color, but that only does it for one. That doesn't do it for all of them. So somewhere in here, I believe you could change the color. Yes, color, you could change the color right here. If I do that, then all of my arrows will turn, well, they should have turned red. They did not for some reason. So There you go. All right, center mark. So this center mark is not from annotate center right here. The center mark is attached to the dimension. So there is a way to do that. So changing the center marks, you would just do dim cen. See right here, it comes up with dim center. And it's at 1 right now. If I change it to 0.5, excuse me, I got to be on it. Dim cen. It's at 0.5. If I change it to 0.3, so it's supposed to change the size of this. It doesn't seem to be working for some reason, but you can change the size of the center mark. Again, I do everything in DD dim chapter 29. Modify. I like to do everything in here. You can change your arrows to close blank. And now you see they are not filled anymore. So many different things you can do. Go back to close filled here on your text. Standard text color, fill color. So you can have a fill color, vertical text placement. You can text it horizontal or vertical. You can tell which one you want to go with. So horizontal is the standard. Under fit, you can do either any of these things. There's your annotative scale for the whole drawing that we changed earlier. Primary units, again, I changed that decimal, but you could be working in architectural or scientific. The scale factor is 1. You're in decimal degrees. Then you have alternative units. I don't usually mess with this or tolerances very much in this, but usually fit, text, symbols and arrows, and lines are the main things that I do when I'm working with AutoCAD. The dimension variable most often changed based on the drawing limits or drawing scale factor is overall scale or dim scale. So again, if you want this stuff to fit and look good, you go to the dimension style manager under dim scale and you can change it to fit or look the way you want. Under text, let's change that to red. There you go, and now all my text has turned red. But if I just want to change one of them, I can just click on this. I can go back to home and I can change this color to red, but it'll change the whole thing, arrows included. So the way to do it individually, again, dim style. Just remember dim style is pretty much the most important thing you need to know on this one. If you want to move text, there is a control to do that. It's called dim T move. Enter a new value. All right. The primary units tab is based in the dimension style manager and allows you to format the type of units you want. Go back to that. Modify primary units. Was this that we did? Primary units, here we go, sorry. The primary units tab controls the format of the AutoCAD measured numerical value. You can vary numerical values in several ways, such as specifying the units, precision or decimal fraction, prefix and suffix, zero suppression, and so on. So you have all of these different things that you can change to your heart's content that you want to do. The assignment doesn't have anything fancy or crazy in it, but that's kind of how it works. And then you can also do, let's talk about Dimoverride. Using either Dimoverride or the Properties palette allows you to make changes to existing dimensions without changing the dimension style. So you can change individual dimensions by using Dimoverride. So if I do Dimoverride, you can clear overrides or you can use overrides. So for example, you see right here is style overrides. There's my overrides. So if I was using those in there, which makes the arrows red, I could clear all those out using Dimoverride. All right, and once again, this is your preview window showing you what your changes will look like. Again, this is standard. This is chapter 29, which I made up for this one. So there's so much you can do with dimensions. There's different line types you can set, and again, all that stuff is under here, under lines. So I can make my line type center. And if I close that out, you see now all those lines are center lines. So dim style is really what you need to remember from this lecture. This is where you do everything that you'll need to do as far as changing everything for your dimensions that they're going to ask you to do. So go to modify and then start doing your fit, start doing your text. And you can even change the text style. It's standard. You can change it to annotative, change your colors, change your text type, change how it is. You can do outside, above. See, it puts the dimension above. So there's another one you can do to change the way it does it. I don't like that one as much. But anyway, all stuff you can do for dimensions and dimension overrides and their variables. So dim style, if you don't remember anything else, remember dim style. Or even less words, ddim, brings that up. And then you can either create a new one or use the standard that already comes with it and change to your heart's content, whatever they ask you to do. But this is where everything is done under this modify button. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me or Mr. Farmer in class, and we'll talk to you guys in the next one. Have a great day.